It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Divas That Care. My name is Candace Gish. If this is your very first time tuning into Divas That Care, a huge welcome. We've been doing this now for 13 years, and we are listened to over 30 countries around the world. And so we're so excited that you've joined us today. Today, we have an amazing woman coming onto the program. We are actually doing a 7-part series with her, and it's around her book called Stronger. I know that you guys are going to love to pick this up. We did part 1 here, and today is going to be part 2 of our series. And the amazing diva that is Rula. And Rula, I'm just excited that you are back with the Divas That Care. You know, I really enjoyed our first podcast that we did, and I'm looking forward to doing this one.
Thanks so much, Candace. I'm very honoured to be on the show, and I really enjoyed the last session too as well, and I'm looking forward to today's one.
If you don't mind, could you do a quick introduction about yourself so that we can let everybody know where you're from, and then we'll get started on part 2.
So I'm Rula Salinas. I'm from the Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia. I'm a registered counsellor, author, speaker, and a resilience coach. I'm also a double cancer survivor. So I'm very passionate about what I do, and I'll be talking about the power of the mind too today and the law of attraction. The reason I got into this is after cancer, it set me on a different journey, and I wanted to write a book, which is Stronger, You Can Overcome and Bounce Back from Adversity. And it shares the techniques that I have learned, and they're also evidence-based techniques to help you navigate those difficult times when you're in challenging spaces and the depths of despair, and to help you heal and to help you get through to the other side. And there's steps there to be able to help you do that. I'm passionate about doing this, so I hope to be able to help as many people as I can. And I'm also an advocate for suicide prevention.
Well, and you've done so much, and our part 1 series, and I hope that everybody is able to go and check that one out first. It was really powerful, and I'm glad that we're able to continue with that, because I did have a lot of questions myself, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is fantastic, you know, when we talked about mental health. And I want to ask you, why was it the power of the mind?
It's a very good question. So because it's really important that we're able to navigate, and if you want to call it, manage our mind during these difficult times, because we have thousands of thoughts that come into our mind daily, and a lot of them we're unaware of. They're subconscious, and we may not even be aware of what we're thinking. So being able to manage your mind in the way that being aware, creating awareness, so you can realize firstly what you're saying to yourself, and being able to, you know, if they're negative thoughts, you might not even realize that then you're thinking all these negative thoughts. So creating awareness is firstly going to make you aware of what you're thinking, and also help you to change or challenge those negative thoughts that you're feeling. There's a few different techniques, because you also have mindfulness techniques as well. But look, there's a quote that I've lived by, and it's from Jim Rohn. I'm sure you've all heard of him. He's a best-selling author, and he says, stand guard at the door of your mind. Now, it's really important, because what we let into our mind influences the way we feel, it influences the way we think, and ultimately the way we act and react to things. And that's why it's really important. You know, there's not many things we can control in this world. We can't control the weather. We can't control the circumstances or other people. But one of the things we can manage is the way we react, the way we react to people, events, or circumstances. And doing that is by creating awareness of what you're thinking, what you're letting into your mental computer.
Do you know that the first time I was kind of aware of this whole thing is I had watched that movie, The Secret. And that was the very first time that it kind of like, oh, wow, I never thought that way before. A lot of others probably think the same thing. They don't even realize, like you were mentioning, that we even have those negative thoughts and that we can actually change them around.
Exactly. And we can. And that's one of the things I also help people with in counselling as well, because they're not realising actually what they're saying to themselves and what they're thinking. And becoming aware, creating awareness and changing or challenging those thoughts and is one. Challenging those thoughts is one. The other one is changing those thoughts and with new affirmations, or the other one is just not hooking into them. So there's a few different ways you can do this, but creating awareness is the first one, so you can understand what you're saying to yourself and then be able to change the thoughts that you're thinking to better feeling thoughts.
Rula, do you think that this is a generational thing also? Do you think that we sometimes think the things we think because of how our family has been or how we grew up?
I don't think so. I don't think it's a generational thing, but I think you've got to understand that our family conditioning starts at 3 or 4. So there is a lot of family conditioning in us already. And maybe some people hold on to that a lot more. So, and they have limiting beliefs, part of it. And it's not just that. Then you've got society, all their beliefs and opinions. So you're letting all this outside influence affect your thoughts. And that's why you need to become aware and realize that you need to, change what you're saying to yourself, or change, those limiting beliefs. Our family conditioning as well is another one. Yeah.
Well, and it makes a lot of sense. The question that I have is, do people have that awakening moment that they're realizing that they are saying negative things to themselves? Is there something that usually triggers them?
A lot of people don't realize because a lot of them are subconscious. So I don't think they're even realizing sometimes. Like, I have done a lot of personal development work since my 20s. So I was already aware of those things. I've went to many workshops and seminars, read hundreds of books. But I think sometimes some people they're not aware of what they're saying to themselves. I think is the main problem, because I find when clients come to see me, they, because I ask them, what are they thinking? What are the thoughts they're saying to themselves when they're depressed, when they're in that negative state? And then I write them down and I read it back to them, and then they become aware. Creating awareness, what are you saying to yourself? Change it to a more positive thought, an affirmation that is going to be able to help you move forward to what you want to achieve and help you feel better. That's the whole thing. Help you feel better about yourself. Because if you're saying all these negative things to yourself, well, you're not going to feel very good. You're going to feel even more depressed. Creating awareness and is a big one.
A lot of people have been working on that personal development, and that's part of it. They're realizing that some things are happening, and they're figuring it out. Yes. And they're working with people like yourself, and they're reading books, and they're like, oh, okay, now what do I do? And they're looking for some more strategies. I think that's what it is. Now they're looking for, what do I do in order to fix this?
Yes. I want to read a quote out to you, and I think this is really important as well. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. To be conquered by yourself is of all things most shameful and vile. And this is from Plato. So this was thousands of years ago. And this shows the importance of how being aware of your thoughts, beliefs, and feelings, and how being able to manage your mind and self is a key to living a happier, healthier, and more successful life.
And so what other types of steps do we have that we work with the power of the mind?
I think it's really important to being able to create some, firstly, affirmations are a really good tool. Realize what you're saying to yourself, and then create an affirmation that's going to be a more positive thing in that regard.
So,
And
Rula,
state it.
can you explain what an affirmation is to maybe some of our
Sure.
listeners that might not understand?
So an affirmation is like a statement that is something that you want to achieve, and you always like state it in the I am. So you could be saying something like, I am strong and powerful, or I am happy in my new job, and you could state what that is. So instead of saying, oh, I never get what I want, or why do all these things happen to me? Those negative things that are just going to make you feel more miserable. Your job is to try and make you feel better. And the way to do that is by creating these affirmations.
Yes, I read a lot of books about affirmations, and I think they're absolutely wonderful because you feel so much better. But I always say, look in a mirror, say them out loud, and then you feel them.
And the other one is just challenging. Yeah, so you're challenging those thoughts, the negative thoughts, those limited beliefs. I never get what I want, and you're stating it in a positive, I am working in this position, or whatever it is that you want to achieve. I am fit and healthy. I am strong and healthy. You tell your mind what you want to achieve, and your mind will actually start to believe it. In the beginning, it might feel like a lie, but it takes practice and repetition, and then it becomes easier. It just practice and repetition. You can't just say it once and just think it's going to happen. Changing the way you're thinking, you're reprogramming your thinking. That's what you're doing. You're changing that old record that was going round and round and saying all those things that are not true, or you want to change about yourself. You're creating a new story. You're creating new beliefs about yourself. You're creating your future.
One of the things that I do is I have these little sticky tabs, and I put them in my kids' bathrooms so that's on their mirror, and then they have to go and read them.
Oh, that's great.
Yes. I love doing that.
You're doing that there for your kids.
Well, they think I'm crazy for doing it, but you know what? I just want them to know that and know that they're powerful and they're beautiful. And I really believe in the affirmations. I think they're an amazing thing.
And now especially the young ones, they're so susceptible to all this outside influence, as we were talking last time, on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook. And a lot of it is negative, and a lot of them just makes them feel even more self-conscious or not good about themselves, because everything is shown so perfect on social media, and life is not like that. And people are not like that in real life.
No, they're not. So now we're going to be talking, you mentioned about the law of attraction, because I'm really excited about this. This part of it has always been a fascination for me, because there is so many different types of books out there, but sometimes it becomes overwhelming or wondering what it really means. And I think that a lot of our listeners are going to be like, well, what is that? I've heard about it, but I'm not too sure what it really is.
Well, that's exciting, because I think it's exciting. And it was made popular, by the book The Secret. And, some people don't believe in it. But look, most people have heard of the law of attraction. So it's the ability to become what you think about, or what you want to attract in your life. And just simply, it's the energy or the vibration that you send out to the universe that then aligns with what you want to attract. But you've also got to be careful, because it works in both ways, both positive and negative. And that's why I said it's really important to, with the power of the mind, to realize what you're saying to yourself, create awareness, because if you're thinking those negative thoughts subconsciously, you're not even realizing, that's what you're going to be attracting, more of the negative into your life. And you don't want to be doing that. So you want to be with what you want to attract.
One of the things I did years ago is I started doing those vision boards, because I'm such a visual person. I hear things and I like doing that, but if I don't see it, it doesn't seem to click in my head for some reason.
Yes, especially
And
if
that's
you're
kind of like
visual.
that law of attraction too, right? You're
Yes.
looking at something and you're portraying it, or you're thinking.
Yeah, so that's exactly right, Candace. That's very true. The vision board is very powerful, and that's the same sort of thing. And if you're visual, it's really, really good to be doing that. And I had done that many years ago. I remember when I was wanting to manifest our dream house, and there was a few other things on there, and it took 10 years. And the thing was, I realized when I moved into this house 10 years later, I looked on the back of that picture because I had packed it up in the box.
Mhm.
On the back of that picture showed the map of where this house was that I wanted. I was in Sydney at the time, and this was in Gold Coast in Queensland. And I couldn't believe I moved into the same suburb in the Gold Coast, and I had never heard of this suburb.
Isn't that crazy?
And the similar sort of house. Yeah. So that vision board is a great idea. It's really powerful.
I love that. So tell me more about the law of attraction in your book.
Well, it's the same thing. Look, the thing is, you've got to become what you think about. Now, what I mean by that is you've got to say you want to achieve something. Well, you've got to study, you've got to learn, or you've got to learn all the techniques or get the skills you need to get to this job or become this person that you want to be. Or if it's a fitness thing, you need to be doing the actions to be able to get there. So you need to study, you need to learn everything you can to become this person that you want to be. And just, you got to get into that good feeling state as well. And we do this by, changing all those thoughts, feeling grateful, feeling a good feeling feeling happier. When we're feeling happier, we vibrate at a higher level. And so we attract more of the good things into our life than when we're feeling negative. Nothing's happening. We're just attracting more of that same negative stuff into our life. Get into a good feeling place is really important to be able to attract what you want to attract in your life. And also learning or becoming the person that you want to be able to attract and align with that.
Well, and then you find yourself surrounding yourself with people because of that. You want to be around people that are thinking like you and that bring up your vibrations. Because I know that I just want to be around people that make me happy.
That's exactly right. You've got to like attracts like, and then you need to be around people that have the same sort of energy that can lift you up, make you feel happy, support you. It is really important. You're attracting like-minded people as well into your life. But I just wanted to make an important thing. That I think the key to change, though, I know goal setting is really important, but it's to become what you think about, what you want to achieve, develop the traits that you need to get to where you want to go.
And it doesn't happen overnight, does it? It takes time.
No, it takes time. You plant the seed, you become clear. You've got to become clear in what you want to achieve. You've got to have really good clarity.
When you're journaling, does it better when you can write things out too, so then you can go back and look at it?
Yes, it's very good. So that's one of the techniques, is to write things down and read them at night. And journaling is very good. I think when you write them down, it becomes more powerful. It's sort of like the vision board. And when you do write things down, you do become clearer too. But write them in a clear, concise way, that what you want to achieve. Be very specific is what I want to, And
I can understand that, because if you're kind of wishy-washy, you might get what you want, but it's not exactly what you want.
That's right.
I've had so much fun. This has been crazy. I learn so much every time you speak, and I just, because it makes some sense to me. I keep on thinking about it, but I'm like, it does make so much sense. Rula, is there any last minute things you want to mention about this part 2 in our series?
Yeah, I could. So I think just being grateful is a really important thing to be able to change your energy, your vibration, to get to that happy place. Because as I mentioned, you've got to be in a good feeling place to be able to attract what you want. So that's where things start to happen. So being grateful and focus on what's working in your life, not what's not working, is a big key to change. Even when you're going through really dark times, that's a really big. That was something I did. I'm not focusing on what I'm going through right now, because it was, when you're going through cancer or whatever it is, it's not pleasant. You've got to focus on the future and on what you want to achieve, and focus on what you're grateful for. So those things, and what you're grateful for.
What you're grateful for. And that's kind of what I've always tell that to my kids all the time, is being grateful for everything you have. It's so important to be grateful for, just waking up in the morning. So Thank you so much. I've really liked that. How can our listeners get a copy of your book so that they can participate with us podcast?
So it's available on Amazon or Booktopia, all the major book retailers online. Stronger, You Can Overcome and Bounce Back from Adversity. I am offering also a free ebook on my website, which is rulasalinas.com. I'm happy to send out. That's 22 Steps to Thrive in Crisis. As I mentioned, it's available all globally, in all around the world.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And for all of our listeners, I will be posting Rula's information on our social media, because I think it's really important for you to go check this out, to go check out not just this book, but she does have other books out there, and just to go follow her. She's an amazing woman, and there's so much that she's doing out there. So I hope that you enjoyed our part 2 of our 7-part series for Stronger. Thank you so much, Rula. Thank you to all of our amazing listeners. I hope that you check out all of our other Diva podcasts, and I hope you do remember to do something kind. Until next time, everyone.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.